Hey everyone, this is Austin-Sensei, and welcome back to another review of the Slime anime. I'm not going to say the entire thing because it's fun not to say it. But anyways, I'm just going to say straight out, the time I was reincarnated as a slime, I know I said I wouldn't say it. I think thank God it's going to be 24 episodes, but if it would count in this year, I would say this is the anime of the year. Because this is just such a well done version of the manga. They took certain liberties to make certain scenes more touching, like Shizu, and the pacing of this episode was perfect, in my opinion, even though people are like, oh, we didn't have enough time. Who cares? That's what I say. Get that? But anyways, let's get to this review. So, in the beginning, we see the goblins are making progress on their village and kind of building everything, and it's all under, the Goblin Lord's control, so Rimuru doesn't have to do anything. So Rimuru really set up this entire, village perfectly, so he can just sit back and chill. And we see Rimuru fix the mask that Shizu had, and he starts to promise to the mask that he's going to take good care of it, and I'm not going to lie, that kind of hurt, because I'm like, it's still fresh. I still can't get over that from last episode. I even read the manga, I still can't get over it. Look, she was such a great character, honestly, but Rimuru actually transforms into a human again, and he realizes that he can hear and see better as a slime than a human, which I thought was quite funny, because, he doesn't really have any physical eyes, kind of thing, but it's all because the human form is not his real form, so it kind of makes sense. But Rimuru uses his body double to inspect himself, and he starts to realize that he looks like Shizu a lot. And no, duh, because he did consume her. But even though people haven't realized this, Rimuru has no gender. I still call him a he because that was his past life, so I'm going to use that. Did I just assume his gender? Yes, I did. What are you going to do about it? But Rimuru, basically this entire time, hasn't had a gender. And the black, fog that would go around that area to block it off, to kind of make it he wouldn't have anything, just to kind of censor it. He doesn't have that as a human, so it's a void of nothingness, just skin, or whatever the material he's using for that, but it's just his body. But we see that, he starts to play around and makes an adult version of him. First a male, he looks pretty handsome, then a female, then he gets very embarrassed, and I couldn't stop laughing because I'm just like, it's perfect. And we see Rimuru is actually going to finally eat with the goblins because he thinks he can actually taste now since he's a human and he can enjoy food, and he starts kind of wondering if he can have rice and start having good old rice with his food. And we see Gobodo start wondering, says it straight to Rimuru, and I'm like, oh, you got some balls, Gobodo. And I'm saying that if he eats more, that his chest will grow, and Rimuru literally roundhouse kicks him and makes him fly, and I just couldn't stop laughing because I'm like, Gobodo, you're not that smart, but you're powerful somehow. And then we see that there's magical creatures going around the forest once again, and Rimuru actually sends his personal Tempest Wolf Ranga with the hunting party for the food, for the feast. And Rimuru actually sets out to visit Voldor's cave to test out the skill that Shizu had, which is basically kind of using a base skill and going further with it, which he made the skill Black Flames, which is really cool, especially in the manga. I think they perfectly executed this in the anime, and just I say perfection. Ironically enough, we have fire in the gameplay, but the mask actually makes Rimuru look like a human because it holds back magic. It kind of acts as a hiding agent, and I'm like, okay, it makes sense. And we see that there's an emergency going on, and Ranga actually contacts good old Rimuru in the cave. We finally see the orgs, and I'm not gonna lie, I love Sinan and Ben. It's good to see them, especially the princess, I forgot her name. It'll come to me as the anime goes through, but it's good to see them show up finally, and they're powerful. The goblins aren't faring well against the orgs and the ogres. It's just, I like that aspect, and I know people talk about Goblin Slayer following like Dungeons and Dragons. This is following it to the T. I mean, it's just beautiful how realistic it is, because goblins aren't the strongest, monsters out there. They are usually led, as we've seen Goblin Slayer, by, hobgoblins or bigger monsters like orcs or ogres, and seeing that this kind of food chain kind of appearing in this anime is quite beautiful. And just, I love it, honestly. And we see Rimuru take on the 5 ogres while, Ranga takes the princess that uses magic, and he wins. I mean, he houses them. And the elder ogre names all the skills he used, Rimuru's skills, without Rimuru ever saying them. And he's like, oh no, he knows me. And this elder, I keep forgetting his name. I know someone's going to tell me, but he's really someone you shouldn't mess with, and he's quite the powerful guy. And I can't wait for the next episode, because you're going to see Rimuru name all of them, and they don't currently have names right now in this episode. So if you hear like Sinon or Ben, I'm using Ben as a shortened version of his real name, but we'll see that next episode. But we see that the ogres were actually attacked by orcs, which killed most of their village, which wasn't said outright in this episode. We'll probably find out next episode what happened, but that's kind of like a little heads up, because it's not really much of a big important thing, but you kind of figure why they're so like quickly to attack Rimuru. Poor decision in my opinion. But we see the elder actually cuts off Rimuru's arm, and Rimuru just puts it back on and takes it in his hand and regenerates it. And they're like, oh, well, he's powerful. And Rimuru actually starts to show off his new skill, Black Flame, and scares the ogres until Ben is kind of just, he's like, no, I must fight for my honor, basically, and is willing to die to avenge his fallen brethren. And we see the ogre princess kind of stop everything and make it peaceful. And basically we see that the mask he's wearing was kind of similar to the ones that the Majins that were attacking the ogre's village, and it's starting to set up for this big thing. And I can't wait for this arc, because it's one of my favorites, and I can't wait for Sinon. I'm not gonna lie, she's one of my favorites too, especially the princess. But he's gonna take them in, obviously, and he invites them to have a festival. And kind of overall, this episode was just beautiful. It's setting up for the next one, and when we start to go to the lizards, you're gonna see a lot of action. And yes, this is kind of world building still, and I know people go to Overlord for world building, and I know people get very upset when I say this. This anime, even though it is a copy, I'm not going to even deny that, it does it better. At least when you copy something, do it better. That's how I think about it, and I'm happy that it's doing it better than Overlord. The politics, how everything's working, how everything is built, you see it from day one. You don't have to wait on an explanation, 3 seasons later with bad CGI. But overall, I think this is well done. 8-Bit has done a very well done job on this animation with this series so far. And it's only episode 9, and we have 24 episodes to watch. And I'm so happy I'm covering it. And I can't stress enough, watch this if you haven't. This is such a great anime. But anyways, guys, what do you think of this anime? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Who's your favorite character? And if you're part of the club that has read the manga, don't you think Sinon's quite a kind of thing? But anyways, guys, this is Austin-Sensei signing out. Peace.